Welcome to the Sound Like Us podcast, where we get the bedroom rock stars out of the bedroom and out into the world to hopefully get them the recognition they deserve. During the interview, we get to know an artist by asking about how important music is to them, from how their early life shaped the musician they became, and their first taste of live music to their first foray into writing and producing and what they have planned for the future. Please like, follow, share, subscribe in all the usual places: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Instagram and YouTube. Big thank you to everyone that's done so already. Please spread the word far and wide to your friends and family, and even that annoying prick you sit next to at work. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use. This helps give the algorithm a big old slap on the chops and gets those musicians even more of the exposure they deserve. If you're a musician, singer-songwriter, rapper, producer, DJ, MC, or even, God forbid, a drummer, and you fancy joining me on the podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch and we'll get you on. We are also proud to announce that we've partnered up with our mates at East London Recordings. East London Recordings is an independent record label run by independent artists for independent artists. East London Recordings has grown into an influential label committed to helping artists realise their full potential. We will be working with East London Recordings by interviewing their artists on the podcast, giving them more exposure on their background, what inspires them, where they are performing, and what music they have coming out in the near future. There will be many more things to listen out and watch out for, so keep those eyes out and ears peeled. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Sound Like Us podcast, and a warm welcome on this shitty fucking day to today's guest, South London indie rock Britpop artist Sam James Johnson. Sam, good afternoon. Welcome to Sound Like Us. How are you doing today?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, Martin. Thanks for having me on.
That's right. Cheers for coming on this absolutely fucking wonderful day.
Wonderful day.
Yeah. Right. Let's start by having you send us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so as you said, my name's Sam James Johnson. I'm a singer-songwriter from South East London. I guess you could kind of describe my genre as rock and roll with quite a bit of a Britpop sort of influence in there as well. I've been writing and playing music for kind of over 10 years now, but been releasing music as an artist for the last sort of 7 years. Kind of been going like strength to strength with that. I've released my debut album, Me, Myself and I, in 2023, and been releasing singles and all that off since then. Yeah, kind of going strength to strength, just doing like gigs and that, like around London. Good. And yeah, had a bit of a hiatus for like the last sort of year or two, but yeah, back now with a new single and yeah, ready to sort of carry on where I left off, really.
Ready to rock and roll. Wicked.
Yeah.
Right, so how did the music that your parents listened to influence you when growing up?
It's a bit of a weird one, really, because I've got two siblings and all three of us are all quite musicals, you know what I mean? So I'm doing my thing. My sister's a singer-songwriter as well. My brother's a producer. But the weird thing is, just like, we don't really come from that much of a musical family, really. I mean, like, we never really went to gigs and that growing up, and there was never like instruments in the house. But the thing was, my parents loved music and there was always music on in the house. So at all times, there'd be the music channel on TV and they'd be buying CDs and that all the time. So there was always music playing. And I guess that kind of, even though the music that was being played, it was mainly sort of like 80s pop and stuff like that. It wasn't really a direct influence on the music that I'm making, but I guess it kind of gave us that love for music, you know what I mean? And that kind of, that kind of showed us that importance of music and just kind of how that's all kind of shaped our lives, really, just having music around all the time, you know?
Yeah. Was there any sort of particular things in like incidents or experiences in your background, like your hometown community, that helped to shape you as an artist?
Yeah, I guess so. I come from kind of, I sort of consider that pretty like a normal family, do you know what I mean? Like a normal family in a pretty like working class sort of area, do you know what I mean? So a lot of the stuff, a lot of the things that, you know, everything kind of revolves around pubs and stuff, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's mainly kind of just like that, normal jobs and stuff like that, you know, shit jobs that you kind of rant about. That's sort of gone into like some of the music that I've done, kind of characters that you meet in pubs, kind of just the normal day to day. So I guess, yeah, that's been from that kind of background is definitely influenced my music, you know what I mean? Especially on the first record as well. Yeah.
So that was what kind of inspired you to first pick up your guitar?
Sorry, mate, it broke up a bit there.
Sorry, was that what kind of inspired you to sort of first pick up the guitar and songwriting and stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think it was just like looking at other bands at the time. I mean, I got into music like a lot of bands that I listened to kind of organically, really. Like I got into Arctic Monkeys and Oasis and stuff like that, and I always just thought it just looked cool. Do you know what I mean? Just seeing them on TV and seeing the music videos and that, it looked cool. So that was the first thing more than anything. That probably attracted me to it more than the music, to be honest. Just, you know what I mean? Just the fact that it looked cool, and it was sort of just like an excuse to sort of chat up girls and stuff like that, to say that you was a musician. But then, like, as you get into it,
it certainly did that for me when Oasis first came out. I was one of those idiots that tried like the Liam Gallagher hair. I used to get the round glasses he used to wear all the cagoles and anoraks and stuff. I look like a right dipstick, but
yeah, I've done all that as well.
Massive influence.
But no, as you sort of start to get into it, and then you really kind of listen to the music, and then you kind of pick up the guitar and start writing stuff. If that's what you end up doing, you know what I mean? I always found it so therapeutic. Do you know what I mean? Because it was almost it's almost like a poetry to it. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like the experience. I think, especially at a young age as well, when you're kind of like 17, 18, you know what I mean? When you're quite an emotional person, aren't you, at that age? You know what I mean? So I think having that kind of outlet to kind of offload, having that kind of outlet to kind of offload and to kind of, you know, create little stories in songs, was what really kind of kept me going with it. I always found it so sort of therapeutic, and it's just a great way to kind of just offload and just to share your experiences more than anything.
Good way to get into your own little world as well. Like if there's shit happening outside, you can just go into your room, shut the door, turn the music on, play your guitar, and then that's you for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than that as well. And I think that, you know, it almost gets better the older you get when you do that as well. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing better than just like locking yourself away with a guitar, a few tunes and stuff. Have a little one-man party. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't done that for a few years. I've got little kids. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so you've linked up with local producer Erem Ahmet, who's worked with another guest who's been on the podcast, James O'Hurley.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. How did it come about? How has he helped transform your sound, etc.?
Erem's been the most influential person throughout my sort of musical journey. So how it came about was I was when I was writing songs about 8 years ago or so, I was kind of making these little demos at home, which I thought sounded amazing at the time, you know what I mean? And they sounded dreadful, you know what I mean? They were proper like Fisher-Price demos, you know what I mean? But like at the time I thought they were amazing, and I was sending them off to radio stations and stuff like that. Obviously didn't get no airplay or anything like that. And I was working in an office at the time, and I was working with a guy called Jacob, who is the lead singer of a metal band called Inquire Within. And we were talking about music, and he said, "Oh, I know this guy called Erem. He produces all of our stuff. If you want, I can put you in touch with him and see if you get something going together." So I sent him about 3 or 4 demos, I think, and he passed them on to Erem. And Erem listened to them, and there was one in particular that Erem really liked, and he said, "I'd like to work on this." So I told my brother about him as well, because as I said, my brother does music as well. So we went down one evening to meet him in his studio, just to have a bit of a chat more than anything, because we thought, you know, he could be the best producer in the world. He could be like, he could have all the gear. He could be the best producer. But if he's a knobhead, then it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went down there to sort of like just introduce ourselves and say hello and sort of talk about what we could do and stuff like that. And we could just tell within like 5 minutes of him meeting him, he was just one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. You know what I mean? He's just so chilled out, so relaxed, loves music. You know what I mean? He's one of them producers that just, he gets as excited as you for doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so from there, we thought, this is the guy we've got to kind of work with. And we booked in a session to do the first single that we did with me, which is a song called Displace. And at the time I was my plan was to work with a few producers, you know what I mean? So I was going to do that song with him, and then maybe find another producer to kind of really get the, kind of like get the feel for working with lots of other different people. But when the song come back, I've not worked with anyone since, you know what I mean? It was just 10 out of 10. He's completely just, everything that I wanted in it was there. And it was just an absolute pleasure to work with. So I've been working with him ever since, and he's done everything like with me since. Like, he's done the whole album, he's done the new single, and as long as he'll keep having me, I'll keep going back.
Wicked. So people, get in touch with Erem if you need your music produced to a high standard. Get in touch with him.
Get in touch with him.
Definitely. Right. Is there a specific piece of music that transports you to another time or place, maybe brings back kind of memories or emotions, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess it was probably the first time I heard Live Forever by Oasis. And obviously that was, it's one of the most well-known songs in the country, isn't it?
Yeah.
But growing up as a kid, for some reason, I don't remember that song. You know what I mean? Obviously, I remember Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger and stuff like that, but I don't remember hearing Live Forever as a kid or stuff like that. So when I found it when I was about kind of like 13, it was like I discovered it for the first time. And that kind of changed my whole outlook on music, you know what I mean? Because I think up to that point, being at school in South London, you kind of listen to just what everyone else is listening to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really the music I used to. You think it's good, but it's, you know, it's not until you listen to something that you really like when you think, oh, actually, that's not good because I really like this. Do you know what I mean? And as you said, yeah. So as you said, from there, when that, when I kind of heard that and then really got into them, started buying the CDs from HMV and stuff like that. Exact same as you as well. The haircut happened, round glasses happened, as it looked like a right tit around school around that time, because it was a bit of a weird thing because like I can imagine in schools now, like Oasis would be quite a popular thing now. Do you know what I mean? But back then, around 2007, 2006, 7, they just weren't, you know what I mean? I was probably the only kid in school that was listening to that sort of music, you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I'm a bit older than you, I think. When I was at school, mid-90s, anyone that listened to guitar music, you were like singled out as being weird.
Yeah.
Because everybody else was in sort of drum and bass, jungle, garage and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that was it. I used to get people like laughing at me in IT because you listen to music in the IT and stuff like that. I was listening to like Oasis and Stone Roses and stuff. People used to take the piss, you know what I mean? But like I should imagine it's very different now because it's kind of all that sort of come sort of back in now, isn't it? But it was a different time back then. Yeah.
But yeah, I think times changed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right. Who would you say, like, I think I know who you're probably going to say here, but who would you say are your main influences?
Oh, I mean, there's just so many to list. I mean, obviously the Beatles. Yeah. I think it all starts from there, doesn't it? Arctic Monkeys, Libertines, obviously Oasis. Like a lot of bands more than anything, you know what I mean? There's just like Jake Bugg as well. Jake Bugg was a huge influence. Yeah. A lot of bands more than anything, but it's a bit of a weird one for me because when it comes to influence, I mean, even though they're people that I listen to and I really kind of look up to and love the music and stuff like that, in terms of getting influence for me to like make music, I always find it's like terrible music that influences me. Like, you know, you hear a song on the radio and you think like, oh, that is awful. How's that got there? Or like you see an artist that's emerging, you think, what's everyone getting? And that kind of gives me the fuel to like pick up the guitar and want to write a song because it's like, well, if they're doing it, I can. I've got half a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's on the radio and people are piping that up, I've got half a chance. And yeah, it's when you hear the people that are really, really good, that's when you're kind of like, oh God, am I doing the right thing here? Do you know what I mean? Is it worth me cracking on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what they say, comparison is the thief of joy. So
exactly
sometimes you just got to do your own thing and just, you know, forget the rest. Crack on, do your own stuff and know that you're good enough to do it and stuff. So definitely crack on. Right, a random question for you. If you could take any person to any gig in history by any artist, A, who would you take? B, what gig would it be? And C, why would you take that person to that gig?
That's a good question, that. If I could take any person. Do you know what? I'd probably take my granddad to go and see Elvis at one of the Vegas shows in the 70s. I don't know what specific ones. I don't know the dates of them and all that. But I guess that would probably be it. And the reason being is because, my granddad is a huge influence on me, sort of growing up with the music and stuff like that as well, because he's very much into like rock and roll, grew up in the 50s and stuff. And he see a lot of the greats, you know what I mean? He got to see Buddy Holly, got to see Eddie Cochran, Gene Vincent, all those sort of people. And he said the one person that he didn't see was Elvis. And I mean, any excuse, I guess, to go and see the King.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Probably be at the 68 comeback special, I think they called it. Yeah, he was in that all black suit.
Yeah, oh yeah, that one. Yeah, we'll go for that one.
I have to admit, he looked fucking good there. He looked cool.
Oh mate,
he did look cool.
He's quality, and you know what I mean. And even today,
let himself go a bit though. Yeah, no, he was good. Right, what was the first piece of music you ever wrote?
It was a song called "Work Out You," and it's not the best song in the world, you know what I mean. But it was the first song that I'd kind of finished. And at that time I wasn't even trying to be like a singer-songwriter or anything like that. It was sort of one of them, it sort of just happened. And then I recorded it on my phone, listened back to it, and I thought, that doesn't actually sound too bad.
Yeah.
So I thought, do I share this? Do I sort of get it out? So what I did was I sent it to like a few close friends, And I said, "Oh, what do you think of this song? Like, I've just found this song on the internet, like this new up and coming artist who's just like, he's posted this demo. I think it's quite good. What do you think?" Not saying it was me, because I wanted honest feedback, you know what I mean? Because obviously, well, they might say it's shit, but you know what I mean? They're probably going to be nice about it, aren't they? You know what I mean? But so I sent that to them, and they all came back with, "Oh yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, who's this guy?" And that was when I said that was actually me. And so yeah, as I said, it's not the best song in the world, but I think there's actually a version of it online somewhere. I think there is a version of it on YouTube. I mean, yeah, I think as a first song, it's not too bad. Yeah.
Wicked. I'll check it out. Check it out. Right. Do you remember the first ever gig you went to?
Yeah, the first gig it was actually Oasis.
Was it?
Yeah, which is quite, it's quite, that was at Wembley, one of the 2009 shows. It was just like 2 weeks just before they broke up. So I literally just got in there just at the last sort of knock-ins.
Yeah, but was that the extra show that they put on?
No, it was the first one. It was the first, first of the Wembley ones. Yeah. And
right, okay.
Yeah, literally just got in there, and it was a mate of mine. I kind of got my mate into Oasis back then. And he told me, he was like, "Oh, my mum is going to see Oasis and she's invited me to go." He was like, "Do you want to," obviously I've had to say like, "Oh, if I'm going, then Sam's got to go as well," because he's got me into all this. So they actually got me a ticket, which is just like a complete godsend, you know what I mean? Because otherwise I wouldn't have gone that first time round, you know what I mean? And it was 2009, just before they broke up. I think, as I said, like 2 weeks later they broke up. And
it was our fault, Sam.
It was exactly that, yeah. And it was, the lineup was just insane. It was, I think from memory, it was Reverend and the Makers, The Enemy, Kasabian, and then Oasis, which is like a dream lineup. And it was like 50 quid for the ticket or something like that, which is mental. And it was great because I'd never heard of The Enemy and Kasabian and stuff like that before that gig. So that was a real kind of introduction for music for me. That one.
But the ones we had were the Enemy and Kasabian. We didn't have Reverend and the Makers, but Kasabian were phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
I think they were better than Oasis.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. They were unbelievable. That was a huge introduction then, because I remember like the week after that, I went into HMV when they used to do that thing. Do you remember they used to do a thing? It was like, I think it was like two or three CDs for a tenner.
Yeah, something
they
like
used to do like a deal, something like that back in the day when it was like CDs were the main thing. And I remember going out and buying one of the Kasabian albums, the Enemy album. And I think I got Stop the Clocks as well, which is the Oasis best of. So that gig was like it was a huge introduction musically to me. I mean, it's quite a dangerous gig to go as the first ever gig, because it's only going to kind of go downhill from there, isn't it? But yeah, it was
went
amazing.
A lot downhill for them, didn't it?
Massively, yeah.
Did you go to the ones in the summer?
Yeah, I was lucky. I went back to Wembley actually. Yeah, I went to one of the Wembley shows. Yeah, it was. What did you make of it?
It's the best I've ever seen them.
Really? Yeah.
I kind of thought it was just going to be like, right, this will be the last time I get to see them. I kind of just bookmark it and that'll be that. But they just blew it away. Absolutely fucking unreal.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? You just kind of, you don't forget, but it's only when you're seeing them live like that, you realise how many bangers that they've got. It's literally just banger after banger. And it was a long set as well, wasn't it? It was like 20 odd songs or something like that? And there's still another 10 that I could think about that should have been added to that list, you know what I mean? But yeah, just unbelievable. And it was always that fault as well of like my favourite part of a gig is always like the 10 minutes just before the band comes on. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't get excitement like that. As an adult, you don't get excitement like that. You know what I mean? And it was that thing of like, you don't. And it was just that thing of like, you just standing there thinking like, fucking hell, like I'm about to see Oasis again. You know what I mean? Like not a tribute band, not High Flying Birds. Like, do you know what I mean? Not BDR. I'm actually seeing Oasis again in a minute. Yeah, it's a feeling that I didn't think I was going to see again.
That first sort of snare drum of Fucking in Bushes comes on and everyone goes mental.
Mate, it's unbelievable. Like I'm getting just goosebumps just thinking about it now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, same. Richard Ashcroft was good as well.
Oh, mate, he was unbelievable. I've never seen Ashcroft before, and that was like, I was saying to a mate the other day. Actually, I think when he did Bittersweet, it was like up there, probably one of the best songs of the whole night. You know what I mean? It could have even been one. It could have even been the best song of the night. You know what I mean? So being in a stadium with like 20,000 people singing that, fucking unbelievable.
Unreal. I'm really glad I got to see him.
Yeah, and I hope if they do carry it on, I want to hear some new music, you know what I mean? I hope they do sort of like carry on where they left off and do like a new album and really kind of like, you know, become a band again, you know what I mean?
I think there will be.
I hope so, man. I hope it's not just like a nostalgia thing, you know what I mean? As good as it was, you know what I mean? I hope it's like, I hope we're going to see like new stuff, you know.
Well, do you know what? Talking of which, I hear you're mates with Noel Gallagher after he likes your album.
Yeah,
Maybe
me
you
and
can
Noel,
find out
me
what's
and
going on.
me and Noel, yeah, go drinking on a Sunday. No, yeah, what happened there
What
was
happened
it
there?
was, yeah, so there was a podcast a couple of years ago. It was done by a guy called Matt Morgan, who Noel is good friends with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing like it was before Oasis got back together and all that, so they were kind of under the not under the radar, do you know what I mean? But they weren't all in the press all in the press like they are now. But he used to do this podcast, Matt Morgan, and it wasn't like a high budget thing or anything like that. He literally used to go to Noel's house with his like phone and just like record them chatting, and they'd just post it on Patreon, and used to pay like $5 for a month just to get these like podcasts and stuff. And it was a really funny show, and I was listening to one of them, and they come up with this idea that what they're going to do is they're going to ask people who listen to the show if they're musicians to post their songs in. And they will like listen to all the songs that have been posted in and almost do like a kind of X Factor thing where like they like talk about the songs that have been like posted and like sort of see what Noel thinks. And so I heard that and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I thought they're going to be inundated. There's no chance they'll actually get around to playing it, you know what I mean? Because they're probably going to have thousands. But I thought I'll just throw it in anyway. So I put a song in there. I put a song that was on my album called Every Day. And a few weeks had passed. I didn't really think anything of it. And then I kind of even forgot about it in a way. And then that the episode come on. It was like I got a notification on my email to say that the episode had finished. I thought, oh my God, like what if it's actually on there? It's like skimming through. Lo and behold, it actually was on there. They actually played it.
Wow.
Which was unbelievable. Yeah, Noel's comments on it, he said it was not bad. And he said that it's got something. You know, I should imagine it didn't blow his head off or anything like that, you know what I mean? But just to even have like a song of mine even mentioned by him and even discussed in a conversation with him is like enough for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have made any music if it wasn't for him. You know what I mean? It's the guy who wrote like Half the World Away and Don't Look Back in Anger and stuff like that. You know? Yeah, completely blown away.
Amazing. That must have been a great moment. You released your debut album, Me, Myself and I, in 2023. How much of a big step was that in getting your music out there to a bigger audience? Yeah,
it was absolutely massive. I mean, it was always a dream of mine. Even when I like first picked up a guitar, do you know what I mean? It was always a dream to go like actually have an album with under my name, you know what I mean, with my songs on it. And it was always one of those things that you thought, oh, it'll never happen, you know what I mean? But and it kind of happened by mistake, really, because what happened was when I was working with Erem, we were doing singles and we were kind of releasing them as and when they were finished, you know what I mean? And that was always, I was happy with that, you know what I mean? I didn't really have like ambitions to do an album or anything like that. But then lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And so we had a bit of a break, and then there was a few singles out, and there was about 5 singles out at that time. Probably even less than that, but maybe about 3 or 4 singles out at that time. And there was another 5 songs that we were working through. And then a few more that I wrote in lockdown as well. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to put these together as an album, as an actual like moment in time, like an artifact. You know what I mean? So when we went back into the studio to record the rest of the songs, we kind of looked at the songs and we put it in an order of like how it would sound as an album. And it, you know, even though it wasn't recorded traditionally as an album, I think it flows really well, and it sounds as if it. To me, anyway, personally, it sounds as if it does, you know. So, it was a great deal. Now I managed to do like some physical copies as well, and it's just nice. It's just a nice like feeling to think that there's, you know, people have got the CD collections, and one of my CDs is in there.
Yeah,
it's a little thing, but
really cool.
it's a little thing, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's a thing that I kind of love the idea of, you know.
Yeah, that is cool. That is real cool. So, what was the first live performance you ever did?
It was in a pub in Blackheath called the Railway. It was an open mic night. And what basically happened was a family friend of ours. He's a little bit older than me, but he plays music, and he kind of probably heard through like my mum or whatever, through his mum, like, oh, Sam's doing music now. So he reached out to me and said, I hear you doing tunes now. He said, do you want to come down to this open mic night that I'm going to be playing?
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't even know what that meant. You know what I mean? I was like, what's an open mic night? You know? And he said, oh, basically, you could just go up and you just like do like a little set. I said, well, I've only got like one song. And he said, well, that's fine. He said, you can do that. And so, yeah, he invited me down there, and we turned up, and the pub was pretty dead, to be honest. There's only probably like 3 people in the whole pub. Yeah. And I remember sitting there absolutely like shitting myself, thinking, oh my God, I'm actually going to like play one of my... It's the first time one of the songs had even like left the bedroom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So then we got to play it live, and I remember like weren't the best performance. I was absolutely shitting it. But
Yeah.
played the song, a couple of claps, and from the two people that were listening, and that was it. Yeah, that was that was a big moment for me as well, because even though it was such a small thing, you know, playing in just a pub in front of a couple of people who weren't listening, it really kind of like, I was like, this is amazing. That was a buzz that I kind of hadn't felt in music before. You know what I mean? Actually playing the song outside of that bedroom environment and actually to like an audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it is a small one, you know, and it created like a real bug for me. And then there was a phase where I was doing like a different open mic and different like acoustic thing or something like that once a week.
Well, that's it. That's your foot in the door, so to speak, isn't it? So you can go there. You know, you got the confidence and stuff to go up and do it, and it give you the confidence to write more songs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I still do them today. Like, I still love doing open mics. It's just a great place. You meet so many good, interesting people at these things as well. You know, a lot of like close friends that I'm with now I've met through things like that, and I think it's you know, it's that thing of like, you know, getting everyone together who's musical. You know,
everyone's doing. They're looking for the same thing. On an open mic, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, right, looking back over the performances you've done, what would you say is the best?
The best in performance probably would be one. It probably would be like an open mic or something like that, where there's literally been no one in the crowd, and I've done like the best gig that I've ever done, and no one's been there to see it. But like the most memorable one, and the one that always stands out for me, was when I played the Cavern in Liverpool.
You played the Cavern?
Yeah, and that was only like an open mic as well. It wasn't like a gig under my name or anything like that. But long story short, me and my missus were supposed to go to Turkey on holiday. It was still kind of lockdown time, so we weren't able to go. But we said, oh, where should we go instead in the UK? So one place I've always wanted to go is Liverpool, because I love the Beatles and, you know, all the music history and stuff like that. And we got there and we was looking for what to do on the first night, and I found open mic. I thought, oh, where's that? It's got to be in some little pub. It's like, oh my God, it's in the Cavern. There's a chance I could actually be playing like the Cavern tonight. And so we went down there, and it was absolutely rammed. Like, I've never like been to like an open mic or anything like that before. It was absolutely rammed. Like, my missus had to like watch it in like almost like a separate room on a TV. There was like so many people in there. Like, it was, and it was, what was special about it was the guy who was running it. He said, right, strictly no covers tonight. It's all just originals, which is great for me, because I normally do the originals anyway. But it was like one of the first ones where you notice that it wasn't just people in a pub, and it happened to be an open mic on. People had come there to watch music, you know what I mean, and to actually watch performances and check out new artists, you know what I mean, and you could feel that. And it was one of my favourite performances. I think I only did like 3 tunes or something like that. But you could tell that people were like really into it, like really kind of engaged with it. And managed to get like quite a few followers from that one as well, because obviously did the whole like, oh, you can check me out on Instagram and stuff like that, and quite a few people did as well, and quite a few people followed me from that as well. So definitely one that sort of stands out, and obviously just the history of it as well. Do you know what I mean? It's the Cavern. Like, I know it's not the real Cavern, because the one that they actually played and got knocked down, but like, it's the closest to it. You know what I mean?
You can still say that I played the Cavern in
exactly.
Liverpool.
So it was one I always try and milk a little bit. Yeah.
Is there a particular venue that stands out in your memory as a favourite place to perform?
Yeah, probably that one. Probably the Cavern. Yeah, I'd say so.
I thought you might say that.
Yeah, it doesn't really get sort of, for me, it doesn't really get much better than that, really. Yeah, just as I said, just for the history of it. And there's something so nice about Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever been to Liverpool?
I love Liverpool.
It's amazing. Like, there's honestly no other place like it. I think there's just something so like there's so much music, and there's just so much like creativity there. You know what I mean?
I'm a Liverpool fan of the football club.
You're gonna love it then, yeah.
So I've been there a few times. First one up there when I was 8, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think there's a lot of music in. It sounds a bit stupid, but in the people of that place, because they're so
absolutely,
it's so sort of communal, and there's a kind of community up there that we don't have here in London anymore, really.
It's a completely different vibe, isn't it? It's completely different to like anywhere else that I've been, really. There's something, and just the history of it, do you know what I mean? Obviously, like, you go there and it's just Beatlemania. It's like Beatlemania still there, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just everywhere.
And the history of the Liverpool as a port city, if you think about it, they're getting all the early American blues music and stuff from the
Yeah.
ships over from America before it even comes to London and stuff. I think music in Liverpool is one of them places where it's just on every corner.
It's just everywhere. I mean, I
love
remember
it
we
there.
went out on like a Tuesday night, and it felt like
Mm,
a Saturday night in London. You know what I mean?
mm.
Just like bars, there's bands playing everywhere, people on acoustic guitars, people like even just like students just carrying around instruments and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's so musical.
Yeah, it's just a great place to do music, I think. So you had a 2-year hiatus before coming back with your new single, Find My Way. What was that little break all about?
I mean, a few people have asked this, and it's like,
Mm,
I guess people have been kind of like expecting me to come back and say like, oh yeah, I've been like traveling Indonesia and finding myself and taking like a gap year or something like that. But no, like the reality of it is, it's just, moving stuff, you know what I mean? Moving house, changing jobs, putting the bins out, putting the dishwasher on, you know what I mean? All that sort of like all that rock and roll stuff, you know what I mean? And then before you know it, you blink and then 2 years have passed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it doesn't really feel like I've had a break really, because I've been doing musical stuff in between, you know what I mean? I've kind of been in and out the studio sort of sporadically. I've been writing songs. I've been doing like little acoustic bits for like social media and stuff like that. And yeah, still been doing bits, but not actually like put any music out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So was your comeback a kind of case of saying, I've got unfinished business here, I've got more to give kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I'd kind of been writing songs on and off throughout that time anyway, and it was just kind of just felt like the right time to just get some new music out, you know? You kind of just get a bit, and it's just nice to like, as a musician, it's just nice to have that conversation as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's been a long time when people come up to you and they say, "Oh, you still doing music? Are you? Do you still do music?" You know what I mean? It's nice to have something new to talk about. You know, it's nice to say like, "Oh, I've got this song coming out," or like, "I've got this gig coming up," or something like that. So yeah, it just felt like the right time really, just to
Yeah.
and I've missed it as well. Do you know what I mean? I've missed like doing stuff like this. You know what I mean? And actually like doing the whole promotion stuff and the gigging and stuff like that. You know?
Sorry, Sam, 1 minute.
You know, mate.
Okay. Cheers. Right, yeah, that's the cleaner.
Was it?
I forgot she was coming today. It's my fault. Sorry, what were you saying before that?
What was I saying? No, I was just saying like, yeah, it just felt like the right time, you know what I mean, to sort of like just come back, you know what I mean? Because I've just really missed it, you know what I mean? I've missed doing like stuff like this, and I've missed having new music to talk about, and you know, promoting it, and actually having like new music to talk about and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I've just missed it, so it just felt like the right time really, just to sort of come back and sort of carry on where it left off, you know what I mean?
Gives you that renewed energy kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's quite an interesting time really, because like, I'm not a huge artist, you know what I mean? I've only got like a few hundred followers on Instagram and stuff like that. But there's been a few loyal people that have kind of always like stood by me, do you know what I mean? And it'd be interesting this time around to sort of see like who's still about, do you know what I mean? And see if anything's changed, and obviously, you know, try and gain some new people along the way as well, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Right, another random question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you could say 5 albums by 5 different artists from a burning building, which 5 are you going to choose?
Wow, where do we begin? I'm going to choose the Stone Roses' first album, just because it's my favourite album of all time ever. I'm going to pick Jake Bugg's first album, because that was a massive influence for me when that came out. That kind of came out around about the time when I was sort of starting music. Guess you've got to have a bit of Beatles in there. I'm going to go Let It Be. I'm going to go Let It Be. Really got into that after the Get Back film came out. I really got into that album.
Okay.
I'm going to go BDI, Different Gear Still Speeding.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a random one.
Yeah, it's got to be one of two.
One of two.
I'm surprised you haven't gone for any Oasis yet.
Yeah, I'm going to put an Oasis one in there then, and I'm not going to go Definitely Maybe, which I think everyone would expect. I'm going to go Don't Believe the Truth.
Probably. That's a random one.
Because I love that. I really, really love that record, and I think it's so underrated. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Good album.
Right, what out of all of your songs, which one's your favourite songs to perform live?
Do you know what? It's probably the new one, because it has been knocking about for a little bit, and I've played it here and there at kind of like gigs and stuff like that, and I do love playing it. But I guess the all-time one, it's got to be a song called 9 to 5. That was a song that I wrote in my early 20s. Exactly. Yeah, it's a terrible title. I really wish I would have given it a different title, because every time I say this one's called 9 to 5, everyone goes, yeah, expecting it to be that. But I guess it's going to be that. It was a song that I wrote in my early 20s when I kind of got my first proper job. You know what I mean? I say like proper job, you know, like I was sort of doing a lot of like temping stuff, but that was the first sort of office job I had when I had like actual responsibilities and a job title and stuff like that. And it was kind of like my sort of awakening, you know, when you kind of start your first job and you think like, oh my God, like where's all my time gone now? And you know what I mean? Like, and then I remember going into a pub and thinking, oh, maybe it's just me that feels like this, you know what I mean? But then you kind of realize, there was a pub on a Sunday night, and you kind of realize that everybody around you is feeling the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of have that thing of just like, why has no one said something about this? You know what I mean? Why have we not like done something? You know what I mean? And so that was so I wrote sort of a bit pissed off about that. In my early 20s, I wrote that song. And I remember playing it live for the first time ever. And it was the first time kind of when I did a gig where everyone had kind of like stopped their conversations and were like really listening to the song. It was the one that really kind of like first to started to like resonate with people. And then I recorded it with Erem, and then we released it. And yeah, it like didn't go viral or anything like that. It only had like a few thousand streams or something like that. But like really like picked up quite a few people. Do you know what I mean? It got shared on quite a few Oasis forums and stuff like that. And I had quite a few people like messaging me, like asking for the chords and stuff like that. And people like saying how much the song related to them, which was for me like a real like massive thing, because it was like, that's the first song that's kind of gone out of my circle in a way. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually gone to like other people. So yeah, even now when I play that one live, it's always the one that people I think enjoy the most.
Oh, wicked. I look forward to hearing that. So what are your earliest memories of recording?
So it would have been at home. I was recording just like as I said earlier, like these really bad like demos on Cubase and stuff like that. Do you remember that one back in the day?
Yeah, I did a course in Cubase.
Oh, really? Yeah, I could have done with one of them, really. Yeah, because the recorders that work great. Is it still a thing?
I've not used Cubase since I left bloody Carl Shorten College.
Yeah.
On that night school thing I was doing to do it, but no, I haven't seen it. It must be still about, but you know, you've got things like GarageBand and stuff, so just use that, I suppose. Yeah,
so I was kind of using like those sort of early tools like that and recording like these demos that I was doing, and they sounded like, looking back at them now, they sounded pretty awful. Do you know what I mean? But it kind of gave me that kind of like thing, like that kind of not knowledge of recording, because I'm not a producer or anything like that, but kind of like very much about timings and stuff like that. And I was making these like really awful demos, but at the time I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were great, and I was sending them to like Radio 1 and stuff like that, and sending them to all these like radio stations. Funny enough, they didn't get played. You know what? There was a local station that played one of them once, but you could really kind of hear the difference between like the professionally done stuff, and then you had my sort of like little shitty demo in the middle of it. You can really tell the difference.
Yeah.
But I guess recording professionally, that was when I started working with Erem. That was like when it was like actually working with someone else for the first time as well, which was a big thing for me, because I'd only kind of done this stuff all on my own. So actually working with someone, getting their input, getting their kind of influence on it as well, and kind of just seeing how they work as well, working with like actual equipment, you know what I mean? Like adding actual drums to a track and actual keys, as opposed to like these presets and stuff like that were on these old softwares.
Yeah. So what is the setup at Erem's studio like? Is it all quite state of the art, up to date and all that kind of thing?
Oh, he's got everything. Yeah. And it's just grown so much as well. I remember when we first went there, it was literally like a little, almost like a garage at the back of where he's working, you know what I mean? And then as time's gone on, it's been extended, and the equipment's got so much better, and it's just seeing it evolve. It's always a surprise every time you walk in there. If you've been like 6 months of not going there, you go in there and there's always something new, and there's always like a new amp. Really? There's always it's so impressive, and it's such a great place to work.
Yeah, I'd love to go down, even just to see all the gear and stuff. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, give him a shout. Yeah, just give him a shout.
Yeah, will do. I mean, maybe I could get him on the podcast one day. So, Erem, if come down. Come on.
Yeah, come down. Yeah.
All right. So, on the 1st of February, alongside Dan Stott, you are supporting the great Sunset Ruins at the Amersham Arms in New Cross. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I can't wait. This is the first gig I've done for such a long time. and
Yeah.
it's going to be it's going to be a great night as well. Like what Sunset Ruins are doing at the moment, it's just been fantastic. You know what I mean? They've only been
Yeah.
kind of around for like the last few months, but I've been to a couple of their gigs, and just they're just so tight. You know what I mean? And they're just so
Yeah.
enthusiastic and excited to like play music. You know what I mean? Which is just, it's so refreshing, and you know, to be asked to do it is such a huge honor. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be seeing. Yeah.
I had Sam on yesterday talking about it, and he's really pleased about. He's really looking forward to doing the gig, and he's really pleased about being able to give you guys like you and Dan a bit of help doing the support gigs and stuff like that. And so
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah,
good.
they're all of them lads are just lovely fellas, you know what I mean, and they're really supportive, and they're really, it's like a nice little community they've got going on there. Do you know what I mean? They're just so supportive of like of new music and that, you know. And I think it's gonna be such a good night. You coming down?
Yeah, I'm looking at getting tickets, but I'm trying to get a few people to come. So I'll have to see about that first, but I'll definitely get a ticket.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. It'd be great to see you down there. Yeah.
Yeah, wicked. Do you know the guys from Sunset Ruins quite well, don't you?
Yeah, so I've known a couple of them on and off throughout the years. Kind of like me and Lee, the singer, we come from the same sort of area. Do you know what I mean? So we've always kind of been on each other's radars, and we both know Dan as well. We're both good mates with Dan, and so yeah, we've kind of like seen each other at gigs and stuff like that, and kind of supported each other throughout the years. But now that Lee's got Sunset Ruins together, it's just great. You know what I mean? Because he was one of those songwriters who was just so good. You know what I mean? And he's such a great front man, and to see him not doing music was it's a bit heartbreaking. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm so glad that he's actually got like a band together, and especially one like Sunset Ruins as well. Do you know what I mean? Because as I said, like the guys, they're cool as fuck. You know what I mean? And
yeah. I mean,
they're the sort of people you'd want to be in a band with. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I was at a gig where they were supporting the Icy Ones at Dingwalls. I don't know if you were there, but
yeah, I was unable to get to that
unreal.
one. Yeah, and
yeah, they're superb.
It's unbelievable to think that that's their second gig as well. Like their second gig ever. I was at like the warm-up show for that at the Amersham that they did. They just did it for like an invited audience, and I just couldn't believe it. That was the first like gig that they've ever done, because it wasn't like rusty at all. Do you know what I mean? It was you thought they'd been playing together for years. It was just so tight.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be seeing like some good things from them this year. I think they've got a lot to come. You know, yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Is there a track of yours that carries a deep personal meaning for you?
I think all of them. Deep down. I know it's a bit of like a generic answer, but I think all of them in some way. I mean, I guess the first single that I ever released was a song called "This Place." That's always a song that's always sort of had a deep meaning for me. Do you know what I mean? 9 to 5. Even though it's a little bit of like an angry rant from like a lad in his early 20s, like it still resonates. You know what I mean? Yeah, the new one. I guess all of them in a different way. You know what I mean? I think especially with some of the songs on the album as well. Some of them are quite old, like really old now. Some of them are like over 10 years old. You know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily write certain songs like that now, but it's just nice to have that artifact of like looking back and thinking, that's how I felt back then. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about that thing back then.
Yeah, definitely. Can you think of a piece of music that's had a major impact on you, like from when you were young and you've sort of carried it through to now, that you still look back on and think, wow, that's a bit of music that means so much to me?
Probably Live Forever. As I said earlier, that one, I think that one, that always sort of stands out in my mind. There was a song called It's True by Jake Bugg. That always kind of was a big thing for me, because he kind of came out making music around the same time that I was sort of starting, you know what I mean? And all the stuff that I was listening to at that time was bands from the 90s and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But then all of a sudden this guy came out of nowhere who like at the time had the same haircut as me and kind of dressed the same, and he was making these like acoustic-y like raw tunes and stuff, and that was one of the turning points for me of like thinking, I could actually do this, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily have to be in a band or have to you know, I can sort of just carry on the way that I'm going.
Yeah, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
What is one of the most memorable moments from a live show that you've done, whether that's a crowd reaction, a funny thing that's happened, any random moment you can remember?
There's been a few ones where, you know, the strings are broke, that sort of thing. Always gets a bit of it's always a bit of a U-beam frame moment. I guess there's been a few times where, as I mentioned, that song 9 to 5, there's especially like sort of in my circle, it's become one of them songs where like people kind of know the words now and stuff like that. So when I play that in like shows and stuff like that, hearing people just sing the choruses back to that is just always sort of blows me away. Do you know what I mean? It's always such a big thing. Just to have that of one of your own songs, you know what I mean? It's what you dream of when you first start, and you know what I mean. When you first start, just you kind of dream about things like that. And as I said, the crowds are not massive, but just hearing them few voices sing along is you never get bored of it, you know.
No, true. Getting people off their arse and moving or singing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you do play live, what's the setup? Is it just you? Do you have a couple of people like might join up with you, or?
No, so it's always just been me, acoustic. I've never managed to kind of get a band together, which is a thing that I'd love to do one day. You know what I mean? Because I think, especially with the tunes on the album, you know, I think a lot of them would benefit with like that live band sort of thing, because they're recorded with a full instrumentation on the albums and stuff like that. So I think, you know, as much as I love performing acoustically, and you can really kind of, you know, get the message of the song out, I think I'd love to, even if it's just once, you know what I mean, just do like a show with like a full band. It's a thing that I'd love to do one day. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, but
yeah. I mean, fucking years ago I tried to set up a band, but I've learned that you can't trust bass players, singers or drummers.
Yeah, it's just
which is quite vital if you want to set up a band. But
exactly, yeah. I mean, I did try and do it. I growing up, like I tried to do it. You know what I mean? You'd always find that there'd be like people who were into the same sort of music as you, but weren't really musical, didn't want to play in a band, or you'd find people that were musical and they just couldn't really be asked to do it. And so it never kind of happened. And I think that's kind of why I went solo in the end as well, because I kind of just got fed up of waiting. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm either just going to do this thing on my own, or it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean?
You can rely on yourself then, can't you?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
No drummer's going to turn up drunk. That's the best thing.
No, it's like Noel Gallagher said, after the drum machine.
Yeah.
After the drum machine, you don't have to buy drugs, you don't have to get any women, you just put it in a bag and then just put it away at the end of the gig.
Yeah, fucking doesn't take up space in the van. Right, are there any other bands other than the brilliant Sunset Ruins and Dan Stott that you've played and worked with on the local scenes you want to give a shout out to?
I can't think of any top of head, but there's a lot going on in South East London at the moment. There's a lot of new music coming out, which is great. And that was one of the sort of like things that's kept me going with the music as well. Is the fact that there's such a good community, like musical community in South East London. There's a lot of like open mics going on. There's a lot of bands forming, and you can just feel it. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of music pubs as well, and there's a big community. And it's one of the things that's, as I said, like, you know, kept me going. Like doing the music sort of thing, you know what I mean? It's really, really inspiring.
Wicked. That sounds good to me. Right. What does the future hold for you, both in the short and the long term?
So the short term, we've got the single coming out on next week on Friday, which I can't wait to get out. Also got the gig with Sunset Ruins on the 1st. So yeah, that's kind of like that. Both them things are kind of like occupying my mind at the moment. And long term, I haven't really got a plan at the minute long term. I'm kind of just sort of taking each day as it comes, you know what I mean? Like, we've done this single. I'm going to go back into the studio at some point we're kind of in the middle of working on some other songs as well. So we're going to kind of get them finished and get them up to speed, you know what I mean? And I want to try and hopefully get a few songs out throughout the year. And yeah, just try and do some more gigs as well. Try and do some more like gigs with other bands as well. Like, I mean, sort of like what I'm doing with Sunset Ruins at the moment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no sort of like set plan at the minute. I'm sort of just taking it.
Take it as it comes.
Take it as it comes. Yeah.
Right. Cool. And that brings us to the end of the interview. You enjoyed being on?
It's been great. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah,
it's the first one I've done for such a long time. And it's been a really, really good chat. And yeah, cheers for having me on. And
that's right.
I'm a fan of the show. You know what I mean? I've listened to a few episodes. Yeah. So
wicked. I love it.
To be on it's been great. Yeah.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. Really appreciate it. Right. So, do you want to reiterate to people what you've got coming up about the album and the gig?
Yeah, so I'm going to be supporting a band called Sunset Ruins, who we've spoke about on the 1st of February at the Amateur Mums in New Cross. Tickets are still available, but I've heard they're selling out pretty quick. So try and get in there because it's going to be a great night. I've got a new single as well. It's called Find My Way, and that's coming out on Friday the 30th of January. And you can pre-save it now. And get on it. It's one of my favourite songs that I've done for a long time.
And Wicked. And Sam has very kindly offers to do a very special performance of that song that we're going to add on to the end of the podcast. So you got that to look forward to. You got any online socials people can get hold of you on?
Yeah, so the ones that I use the most, in fact, you can use Linktree. So it's link, I think it's spelled so weird, it's like link tr.ee
Yeah.
/ Sam James Johnson, and that's got all the links on that as well. It's got all like the tickets for the thing. But social media, at Sam James Johnson on Instagram and Sam James Johnson Music on Facebook. And they're the ones that I kind of update the most. Yeah.
Well, people go on there and find and like, share, follow, subscribe Sam James Johnson, get all the details about his music, gigs and all the rest of it and stuff like that. Please like, share, follow and subscribe to the Sound Like Us podcast on Spotify, Instagram and all the other fucking places. There's loads. Finally, to play us out, Sam, do you want to introduce your song?
Yep, this is my new single, which is coming out on the 30th of January, and it's called Find My Way.
Guys, thank you very much to Sam for coming on. Guys, go and check him out online. Check him out at the Amersham Arms on the 1st of February, supporting the Sunset Ruins with Dan Stott. Sam, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on today.
Oh, it's been great, mate.
See you again very soon. I'll see you on the 1st.
See you on the 1st.
I'll be
See you there, mate.
I'll be there.
Take care, mate.
Nice one.
The same night, another town. My head is spinning round and round. I only wanted to be free of all the lies they've said to me. My heart is beating fast. This feeling's here to last. Come save me now. I'm coming down. I'm coming down. I'm coming back around. Below the overground. I'm coming down. Won't you come save me now? Wanna feel like I did last night. I wanna see the light like there's no tomorrow. I walk through the open door like I did before. I'm gonna find my way once more. The same day, a Monday blue. There's no more left for me to do. I only wanted to be free of all the lies they've said to me. My heart is beating fast. This feeling's here to last. Come save me now. I'm coming down. I'm coming down. I'm coming back around. Below the overground. I'm coming down. Won't you come save me now? Wanna feel like I did last night. I wanna see the light like there's no tomorrow. I walk through the open door like I did before.